Hey fungies, it's Steffi, and in this tutorial we are learning about pleats. And just a side note, this is all part of my Patreon series, so if you guys want to see how this went from this to this, well, you're just gonna have to join my Patreon channel. I mean, we've got exclusive tutorials, we got 3D files, advice, industry insights, so if you're interested and that sounds like your jam, then you know what to do. Anyways, let's get into the tutorial. Okay, so we have our own Daz avatar here. You can choose whichever avatar you want, but I got mine from Daz. We've also got a pre-made top that I've made from a previous project just to get us going because our focus today is skirt. So we are going to make a knife pleat skirt first. Head over to rectangle. Use the shadow as your guide here. Little waistband. Okay, cool. We are going to duplicate this, press Ctrl D. And what I'm going to do is also, I think we should add our own texture here because we've got everything for the top but nothing for the skirt. So let's add a texture here and just type in skirt and make it a different color. Let's make it something like this. Highlight these two, assign it. Great. Now with this back piece, I'm going to move this back, rotate it. You will see that this side is darker. Okay, it's almost like black. This side is the normal side, and you always want that facing in to the avatar. Okay, you don't want it facing outside. You can see also the same for the front piece here. Then what I'm going to do is head to avatar display, show arrangement points. Okay, we're going to highlight this one, the front piece. We're going to click here. You can see it curves to the avatar, which is great. Do the same to the back. I can click on it, that would be cool. Come on, there we go. And turn off the arrangement points. Now I'm going to sew these two together. Press N for segment sewing. If you don't know where that is, it's here. Press N and we're going to click from here to here. In a straight line, it always must be a straight line. Oh, not there. That's a classic no. Don't do that. Press N for segment sewing, and we're going to press from this side to this side. You can also sew on a 3D side as well if you choose to. So from here to here. Okay, press simulate. Great. All right, that's looking good. Then we are going to freeze these. Press Ctrl K. Cool. And we are going to grab this, copy and paste this. Bring it down. This will be the skirt length. And here we're going to unfreeze it, press Ctrl K, or you can press right click and unfreeze it here. And I'm going to right click again and reset 2D arrangement so that this is a flat piece again. So with this, we are going to times this by 3. So it's going to be 3 of these pieces. And I'm going to add a half as well. Some people like to just times 3. I'm just going to add a half because I like more fabric. So it's up to your own preference at this point. So we're going to copy and paste this. This is the second piece. This is the third piece. Some people like to stop here. I am going to add a little bit more. And we are going to cut this in half. Press G. There should be a midpoint here. You can click. It should snap to the midpoint. And going to right click this. Cut. We don't want it to sew, my bad. It should just be a cut. So we're going to delete this piece so it doesn't matter anyways. And we are going to now merge these pieces together. Press Z for edit pattern. Highlight these pieces by holding shift. Merge them. That's looking good. Same here. Hold shift. Merge them here. Same thing here. And we're going to merge them. Great. Now, what I want you to do is highlight these, and we are going to delete these parts here. And these purple lines here, you're going to press the trace button and delete those. You might have to press it twice. That's mine. I've got 2 of these lines here. Done. Great. So now we have this piece here. This is going to be the front piece. And what I want to do is press Z, click these 2 lines here. And I'm going to right click and distribute internal lines between segments. Now we want to make this 23. The way that I calculate this is basically it needs to be a multiple of 3 plus 2. So for example, a multiple of 3 here would be 21, and then plus 2 would make it 23. Equally, you could choose a number like 38. If you want the pleats to be smaller, make the number higher. So if you chose a number like 38, the multiple of 3 would be 36, and then you would plus 2, so that would make it 38. So I'm going to choose 23 here because I like the size of these pleats, and press OK. Then we're going to right click and extend, trim, add point to pattern outline. Right, we are ready to move to the fun part. You need to head over to the pleats sewing tool, go to pleats fold, click from left to right. Choose knife pleats because that's what we're working on right now. Make sure your internal lines is 3. If it's on 2, just switch it to 3. Press OK. Then you want to head to pleats sewing and click from left to right here. Cool, fab, that's done. And what I'm going to do is copy and paste this. And you want to do the same thing. Okay, this is going to be the back. However, because we've sewn on the left side on the front piece, you're going to notice that because we copied and pasted it, it's got sewing, and we don't want that. So just delete it. And now we are going to go to pleats sewing, do the same thing, click from left to right here. Great. Now press A. We are going to rearrange these. Make sure this goes to the back. And this one, make sure this goes to the front. There we go. And then we also want to sew the sides here. So what I'm going to do is press N for segment sewing, click from here to here. Okay, let's simulate this. So let's press the simulation button here. Cute. It's looking a little bit messy, and I think one way we can fix this sometimes is if you reset it to the arrangement. See this for the front. There we go. That's looking a little bit neater. Sometimes you can reset it, or equally you can manually tweak it like this. Okay, so this is looking a lot cuter. The back, as you can see, is looking a bit messy. You can just manually tweak it, or you can re-simulate it, but it will take some TLC to get this looking the way you want it to look. Okay, so if this does not work out the way you want it, reset the 3D arrangement. Here we go. And we're going to sew it again. There we go. Sometimes you just need a little bit of that. Sometimes it works perfectly in simulation, sometimes it don't. But that's fine. What we are going to do now is I'm going to unfreeze the waistband. Yep, great. And what we are going to do to just help the structure of this, first of all, we are going to reduce the particle distance to 10, give it a little bit more polygons to work with, make it look a lot smoother. Okay, if I simulate that, there you go, looking a lot smoother now. Now, I also like my skirts to have a bit more structure. So in terms of, I suppose, the material, you can go to skirt, physical property, and I want to choose denim, woven denim here. Now, you won't see a difference until you press simulate. So let's press that. And as you can see, it slowly fans out. So these are little techniques you can use just to add a bit more structure. And even I was a bit surprised the first time I sewed this together. We sewed it together and it wasn't looking like a very neat knife pleat. So just know that these are little techniques you can do to just help neaten it up and give it a bit more structure to it. So this is how we make the knife pleated skirts. Pretty cute. You can adjust the length if you want to. Of course, if you want this a little bit shorter, you could just reduce the length just like this, if that's your style, or you can make it longer, totally up to you. And what I want to do is add like a cute little belt here in the middle without moving that section. That would be great. And how we're going to do that is simply, we'll just grab these two here, the waistband, copy and paste it. Okay. Highlight both. I'm gonna reduce it here and here. Bring this down. Great, so you can see this is gonna be like an extra belt in the middle. Gonna increase the width just a little bit and press simulate. Okay, so it's having a hard time calculating, so I'm just gonna pause that. One way we can help this is by making it a layer 1, and it should come out, there we go, pretty instantly, right? That's pretty good. So what I'm also going to do is probably add some 2 belt loops here, so one here and one here to the side. I think that will help to just to hold this in. So let me just take this layer off now that it's over. And what I'm gonna do is copy and paste this waistband here. We are just going to make our own belt loop here. But we do have to find it here. Here we go. Roughly, we'll place it roughly where we want to sew it. Maybe I'll put it in a back piece actually. So if I bring this over to here, we will sew it to this section here. And I think we want to make this belt loop probably a little bit smaller, probably just almost matching the length, the width of this, so that it fits quite snugly, something like this. Okay, that'll be cute. Great. And then what we're gonna do is copy this line here. Actually, we should probably make it an internal line. What we can do is go to trace, pattern here. Trace as internal line, here we go. That's what we want. I'm gonna copy that over to here. Okay, now you can see it here, right? And I'm just gonna hide the avatar because the arm's getting in my way, so press Shift A. There we go, that's a lot easier to see, right? And then we're gonna copy and paste this down, hold Shift, there we go. I just want to make sure this is the right length. I'm gonna put this piece here. And we're just gonna match the length. Let me just see where we're gonna place it. It should be roughly in the middle. Move this here, hold Shift. And that should match the length. Great. So what we're gonna do is now press sewing, the segment sewing, this to this, and this to this. From the side, it should look something like this. Here we go. You should see the sewing lines here, right? Press sew. Great. Right, there's one belt loop, done. We can make it even tighter. Perhaps it's too big. Maybe we want it even tighter. So if we're gonna do that, again, if we're gonna reduce it, we could reduce it a little bit here. And we'll just match it again. Great. Grab the internal line, match the length here and here. And then all we're gonna do is just press simulate. Great, that looks a little bit more snug, doesn't it? And with this, because it's so small, I'm gonna make it a particle distance of 5. There we go. It looks a bit smoother now, doesn't it? Great. So let me just look at this from the front. Okay, it looks good. You don't want it to stick out too much. We're gonna do exactly the same on the other side. And I forgot this is duplicated. So what I'm gonna do is remove linked editing, and we'll just get rid of these. Actually, no, we will copy these, delete them, and we'll move it to this pattern piece here. And you see these pink lines, it's making it parallel to the other one, which is really, really good. because we do want it parallel. We don't want it to be wonky. I'm just copy and pasting this to the other side now. Or maybe we can duplicate it, I wonder. Doesn't matter at this point. Let me just move it to the other side. Let me move it here. Bring it closer. Oh, I think it's inside the skirt. Bring it out. Rotate. Okay. Okay, now we got to sew this. Sewing moment. Great. Okay, are you ready? Let's press simulate. Yay. Okay, that's cute. So now I'm going to press simulation. I'm going to turn it off, and I just want to check the spacing between this and the other side. Just want to make sure it's looking equal. Okay, this one's looking a bit closer. So what I want to do is probably move the other one a little bit closer, just so that we can match the other side. Highlight both, hold shift so that it moves in a straight line, and make it more something like that. Let's press simulate. Great, that's cute. So this is already secured in, and I am going to add some more details here. We're probably going to add a hardware piece or a trim. Okay, so let me add a hardware piece. So go up to here, and you should get a window like this. You want to go to trim, hardware, choose this buckle. And I think I just double clicked it. I think I actually need to drag it in. Let me drag it in and press open. Okay, let me get rid of the old one. And we should see a buckle down here. I am just simply going to bring it up and move it out where we can see it here. There. Great. Rotate it. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is probably, I cannot see this belt right now because it's the same color as the skirt. So I'm just gonna temporarily make it a different color so that I can see the difference, so that my eyes can see and differentiate. So we're gonna rotate this, and we're also going to increase the size because the belt that I've made is pretty big. We want the hardware to fit it. Here we go. Can do something like that. Something like this. Probably can scale it down just a little bit. This way. Yep. Cool. Just making a little cute belt and then adding the hardware. You can do stuff like this, which is pretty cool. And then I kind of want to make like the end of the belt. So we're just going to make an illusion, if you will. And what I mean by that is with this, I think I want to add like a triangle looking thing. You'll get what I mean once I make it. So let me just copy and paste this section here. Okay, so this is literally the same. Okay. And let me just have a little look. Let me double check what I want. Sorry. Actually, I don't need this to be duplicated just yet. I'm going to press X. I'm going to add a point here. Okay. Add a point here. And I'm going to add a line here, internal line, and press X to add a point in the middle of this. Now we're going to press Z, we're going to bring this out. So as you can see, I want this little triangle bit to look like it is part of the belt going through this hardware piece. I'm going to press A, let's move this over a little bit. Maybe a little bit more. I can see this is duplicated. I do not want that. Let's right click and press remove linked editing. Get rid of that. Get rid of these as well. Okay, let's just focus on this section here. Okay, great. So what I'm gonna do, let's see. Move this over here. Get rid of these points. Okay, so what we're gonna do is this. I am going to copy and paste this now. Okay. Here we go. And what we are going to do is cut this top piece in half, just so that it meets at this section here, okay? So I am going to bring this over a little bit. Okay. And we'll copy this to go down here as well. With this one, I am going to press cut. Okay. And then with this section, I'm also going to press cut. Great. Then we are going to sew this. Sew this as well. Oh, no. Press free sewing, which you'll find here. Press free sewing here. This will get sewn to this. Great. And with this section, we want this to sew. So back to free sewing to this. There we go. I know this looks really complicated, but I'm basically just trying to fake this belt look. So let me just go put it underneath. Or equally, we can make this a layer 1. But let's see how this works if I press simulate. Yeah, something like that. Okay, and then with this belt, if I turn this off, we can rotate this. And adjust, we will readjust where we see fit for this. Something like that. Great. And just note that this works really well for like, if it's not animating, but if you want your piece to animate, then hardwares and trims are pretty hard to animate within CLO, unfortunately. At least from my experience, they are quite hard to animate. I'll move it over, just seeing where this will fit well. Okay. I sort of want to hide this seam here, the sewing section. So let's see what we can do. And I guess with the belts, with this section, it doesn't need to be sewn, does it? I know I sewed it before, but maybe it doesn't. It just needs to be sewn on the sides, if I'm correct here. Press M from here to here, here to here, and here to here. There we go. Great. That looks a bit more realistic, I suppose. Oh, what's going on? Why are you doing that? I sort of not made it work. Okay, weird. That's such a weird moment. Why is it doing that? Okay, we'll go back in time. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, we'll just keep it like this for now. Just keep it succinct. Great. And let's just look at this one more time. little bit. This is what I like when you're working with stills. You can really art direct it and make sure it fits where you need it to fit. Whereas when I work with a lot of animation, you cannot fine tune this like this. There's a lot of technical problems that I run into, and you may see that on my streams, you may see it in my like social media videos, but when it's a still, it's just so much easier to just decide what you like and what you don't. And you can hide things pretty well in 3D. There we go. That looks cute, right? Something like that. And I'm going to take this moment to save because we should most definitely save. So right now, I want to make the skirt a little bit shorter. I'm going to bring the avatar back by pressing Shift A. And I am going to take this moment to just freeze the belt section because we don't want that to move at all. I am going to make the skirt just a smidge shorter, not too much. Okay, maybe a bit longer. Again, this is just personal preference at this point, guys. Whatever you want it to be, whatever your outfit needs. Cute. We'll just do that. And then what I want to show you is the importance of topology, guys. It's not my favorite topic to talk about. I'm just going to reassign this belt to the same fabric now. Topology. Let me show you the wireframe. This is all the polygons that we got, right? So what we're going to do is highlight it all, and you need to find a mesh type. It is triangle right now. Let's change it to quads, and it should make this look a lot better. There we go. Made it a lot cleaner. This is, in my opinion, not the best way to make things into quads, but I feel like Marvelous Designer makes it a lot easier. But this is definitely one of the ways you can make this topology a lot cleaner, in my opinion. And if you compare it to, of course, the top is very detailed, right? Sometimes it really depends on what you're going to be using it for, but this, in terms of like texturing, this will make it a lot easier to work with. So I'm going to do the same to the top and I'll be back. Okay, here is the top. Again, this is not the best way to retopologize. The back looks pretty good up to here and then it looks a bit funky, but it does help to streamline some sections and make them look good. Okay. So with the belt, yeah, it looks pretty good for now. There are better tools out there, like in Blender, I think, and in ZBrush, if you guys are into that. But this will do for now. And I will need to bring out this back section, actually. I just realized we can freeze this. We can freeze the back. Sorry, the front. And then with the top, we can make it like a layer 1. And that should sort out our problem quite quickly. There you go. Nice, done. Nice and easy. Make them a layer 0. Let's turn off the wireframe now and have a little look. Unfreeze everything. And here we go. I'm also going to turn on the quality render so you guys can see what we've just made. And it looks pretty cute. It looks pretty cute. You guys can add your own textures on top if you want to. You simply just go to like this button up here, the library, and you can go to fabric. And CLO has already some presets. They've also partnered with Substance Painter, so you guys can type in something like, I don't know, like twill. Let's see if it's got anything here. There we go. So this is Substance Painter, right? You can grab this in here. And if I close this, for example, just have a look at it. It looks pretty nice. You can go here and you could even, I suppose, tweak the custom properties. And this is exactly the same in Substance Painter. So it's pretty neat that they've partnered with Substance Painter on this. You can choose the colors, whatever color you want it to be. Let's just keep it to this greeny vibe. and this one here as well. Okay, cute. And I think we will also add some top stitching, shall we? You know, I've already got some top stitching on my top. Let's add some details to the skirts as well. So I'll turn off this quality render for a second. And if I go to top stitching here, I've got two here. I've got the default one, and I've also made my own one as well. But I think right now we'll keep to default. We will click here and here. If we zoom in, you should be able to see it here. Yeah. If you did want to change it, let's say, I think if I wanted to change it or tweak it, you can click on this button here, select both with Shift, and you can just change it here. And it's just roughly, it's changed it to the same stitching as that. Okay. And we'll go back and we'll stitch here, but instead of stitching this separately, I want to go to free top stitch, go all the way down there. Okay. And we'll do also the same. Go to segment top stitch here, to the back here. Great. You could add some top stitching to the belt loops as well. Although it is kind of hard to see with this texture going on. If I were to switch this to, like, for example, grab this, make this color, you can see it a lot more. And I can see the mistake here on the back. So sometimes, I guess before we get to texturing, if you want to do top stitching, do it with plainer materials. Okay, let's swap this to my own top stitch here. That looks better. And then same thing here. I don't see any top stitching here. Oh yes, we do. It's on this side. That's cute. Let's switch it, if it lets me. Oh, that doesn't seem right. Maybe we'll switch it back to the default one. And we'll do the same on the other side. There we go. Something like that. Cute. And then we'll switch to my one, customize this. And we'll go with free top stitch here. We'll do the hem, stitch the hem. And if we zoom in, just have a little check. There you go. Just little details like that makes things a little bit more realistic. Same with the top and bottom here. We'll go to segment top stitch. There we go. Really nice. Same with the bottom. Done. And I think I want to fix the top stitching here. It doesn't look right, does it? So what I'm going to do is actually get rid of all of these. We can go to free top stitch, make sure my customized one is selected, and go all the way around. And as you can see, that gives a cleaner look compared to before, doesn't it? That's a lot better. And then we can go back to segment top stitch here and here. There we go. That looks a lot better. And then we can go back to making this all this texture, right? Turn on the quality render here. Pretty cute. And also, I guess you can add this to the piece here, the top piece. You could even highlight these, assign it, and of course you can click on this texture here and tweak the color. So if the base color map is not what you like, you could delete it, and you could even just change the color to what you want it to be. I think I'm just going to match the screen. Simply just get the eyedropper here. Cute. And then with the stripes, I am going to make it, let's make it a black color. I don't know, something like that. Again, if you don't like the fabric, if you think there's not enough texture, you can change it. You can change it to whatever you want it to be. There's loads here, right? So have a little play. They've got lots of presets here. Just drag and drop. You know, we could do something like that. Drag this one on top. Whoa, ultra shiny, which is cute. It is PVC, so it will have that shine. And we can change the color. Like, you can go here, change the color. Something a bit lighter if you like that. Apply and close, right? Or if you don't like the fabric look, because it's got some detailing there, you can delete this, the base map color, and then you can really fine tune the color and use the eyedropper, swatch it. Just know that with metallic colors, they do look darker. So maybe if you want it to match, you might have to go a little bit lighter. Apply and close. Done. Okay. And equally, you could play with the roughness here. You can, they've already got roughness maps, but you can reduce or increase the reflectivity if you wanted to. All right, I figured out what I needed to do for the belt situation because I wasn't quite comfortable with this part just kind of sticking here. So I'm gonna press M, which you can find in free sewing here. We're gonna sew only a little bit of it from this to this part, and then from here to here. Okay, and then we're gonna press B to check sewing. We're gonna delete this sewing here. Now I'm gonna press simulate. Now it's looking a lot more realistic. Like, it's not just stuck to the belt, because in real life it's not going to be stuck to the belt like that. The only thing we need to tweak really is this section here. So I'm going to turn off simulation. The hardware needs to be moved in a way that fits this properly. Press A. Here we go. Move it forward a little bit. Find a balance. You might have to tweak the angles. And perhaps this is where we might need to go to this tool here. Select mesh box. Okay. And I believe it's this one here. So if we select this mesh here, let's see, around here. Okay. So we select this area here, and if we select it, we should be able to just pull it out just a little bit, just so that it's over that bar in the middle. Done. Okay, so this is the final look. I'm just gonna hide the avatar for you guys. Very cute outfit. I hope you guys have fun with the skirts. Honestly, play, see what fits your style, and hopefully you guys have learned something a little bit more today. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Hopefully these techniques you can use in your own projects. And again, if you want to push your digital fashion skills further, then you should really consider joining my Patreon. We have exclusive tutorials, 3D files, advice, and industry insights for you to level up your skills and knowledge. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then you know what to do. And feel free to suggest what you would like to learn for next time. That's it from me today, and I'll see you in the next video.